Hi everybody, this is Lovelyn. When it comes to being mindful, it's all about being concerned about others, their needs. There's also mindfulness about the self, and it's one thing that I really encourage everybody to do. You need to be mindful about your needs, whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, and otherwise. But at the same time, being mindful of yourself does not have to be to the exclusion of other people. And you find that some people, they're like, oh, well, I'm mindful of what I need and I need to take care of myself, and every other person will just go take care of themselves. That's not how life works, because we all technically, well, in a way, need to look out for one another. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be this game of I look up to myself, you look up to yourself. At the end of the day, we end up not being in sync. And I believe that when you're mindful of other people's needs, whether you're at work where you're mindful about your colleague, you do projects with people, you work with people and things, you give credit where it is due. That is being mindful, speaking up for another person in settings where, well, they don't even have to know that you spoke up for them. When it comes to business, it's that thing of being mindful of what your business partners' needs are. What your customer base needs are, and this is stuff that you really need to consider when you're being mindful. It's not just about the numbers and just putting all that stuff together, doing the work, and you need to be mindful. There's that emotional and mental space that you need to connect with other people, and when you do that, I believe that it makes everybody work better. Because in a family setting, for example, when everybody's mindful of one another's needs, and this is when I say this, I'm saying it in the sense of, instead of somebody saying, I am the provider, I'm the one who should provide financially for the house, or the other person says, oh, I'm the one who takes care of everything in the house, and I'm not going to work. Each person needs to be mindful of what the needs are of the entire family, because this is 2025. Like, there is no clear-cut, I am the this, I am the that in homes anymore, because we need to live in reality. Which means that with the breakdown of roles, each person now needs to be more mindful of what is obtainable and what is needed in that setting, to make sure that one person is not overly burdened by what the collective needs. And I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to be direct, but not be direct, right? Because I operate in the African society, after all, where certain roles are kind of entrenched, and we are trying to break out of those roles and say, no, but with society these days, we cannot survive with those roles, otherwise we all die, literally. So last year there was this whole thing about being very demure and very mindful. And even though on some level it was a joke and it was this thing of awareness or whatever, but as a joke, I think that the mindfulness part is not something that should be taken for granted or should be taken lightly. Because when you're not mindful of the needs of people around you, you take them for granted. That's just the way it is. When people feel taken for granted, it is usually when the other person is not mindful of their needs and has not been for a while. So we need to be mindful of one another's needs. We need to accommodate for where we are at. It's not about, it doesn't have to be about me and me and me and me. And most definitely, I advocate for taking care of yourself, because if you're not mindful of yourself and for yourself, you can be mindful for another person or of another person. So in 2025, let us be more mindful, right? Let us look out for one another in whatever setting it is. Let us be more mindful of our needs, and at the same time of our family's needs, our colleagues' needs, our business partners' needs. Because when we work as a collective, when we are mindful of the needs of others, the world is a better place. When we are mindful of the needs of others, we can advise people without expecting anything in return. When we are mindful of one another, we can provide access to finance for another person for their business. And when we are mindful of others, we can help pick them up when they are down. All right. So 2025, while we are refocusing, while we are rising, all of that stuff, we need to be mindful. Right. Let's have a fantastic year together. And I'm going to go back to being very demure and very mindful. Cheers. Bye.